Good afternoon, brothers, sisters, and sojourners of Israel. This is Dr. Ephraim. Today's date is September 26th. Clearly, if you're listening to the sound of my voice, you're blessed to see yet another Shabbat, and all praises due to the Most High. Ahai by Yeshua HaMashiach. Today, I actually decided to do something a little different. I'm going to give my thoughts on this whole Breonna Taylor situation, because this has been highly emotionalized by our people, and of course, the decision just came down not to indict the officer that was responsible for her death, and of course, a lot of people feel a lot of different ways about it, and I honestly didn't know a whole lot about it. And one of the things that really stood out to me is that with this particular case, and it's kind of sad to say that we're kind of desensitized to the killing of our people. We should never become or be desensitized to the loss of any human life, but especially as it relates to a lot of the unarmed black men and women that's been losing their lives at the hands of police officers, as of late. And like I said, I would hear bits and pieces about the story, but I didn't really know what happened or what the circumstances were surrounding the young lady's death. And first of all, let me just say, rest in peace to Breonna Taylor and all the brothers and sisters that's lost their lives that were unarmed at the hands of police officers. So with that said, and I don't know, maybe it's because she's female, because of her age, but even more so than George Floyd, who we actually literally saw getting murdered, by the police on TV. People were just really, really highly emotionalized by Breonna Taylor's death. And so, to the point where even Oprah Winfrey put up some billboards or something to that effect. I'm like, wow, Oprah? She didn't do anything like that for George Floyd. So I just kind of wanted to dig a little bit deeper and find out exactly, what happened. And again, with us, it's hard not to get, emotional or be emotionalized, right? Because quite honestly and quite frankly, policing in this country they have a history of not giving us anything to give them the benefit of the doubt with. So I understand the frustration, I understand the anger, but at the same time, I try to be, the voice of reason. I try to be as objective as I can. Normally, I try to make decisions based on objectivity, not emotions, because 9 times out of 10, when you make a decision based on emotion, it's going to be the wrong decision, right? And yes, the young lady lost her life, and I wanted to find out exactly what the circumstances were surrounding that and what happened. All right, so you guys know me being me, so I did some research, and this is what I found, and this is my take on the whole thing. All right, in a nutshell, for those of you who may not know exactly, what happened or the basic foundation of what happened, because only 5 people know what happened, and one of those people are dead. That's Miss Taylor, and 3 of the officers are still alive, and her boyfriend, Mr. Kenneth Walker. So apparently on the night of March 13th, 2023, officers Jonathan Mattingly, Brett Hankinson, and Miles Cosgrove arrived at Breonna's residence to serve her a search warrant. And again, with the internet, they were having us believe in the beginning that the search warrant was for the boyfriend and this and that, and that turned out not to be true. Actually, the search warrant was for Miss Taylor and her apartment, because apparently they had observed her or thought that she had maybe somehow was involved with another guy in the transporting of drugs or picking up drugs from her house, et cetera, et cetera. So she was actually the one that they were there to serve the search warrant for. Another untruth was that she was killed asleep in bed. No, that's not true either. And that's just it. The internet is good and bad. It's a lot of information that gets put out real quick, but then sometimes it be bad information or false information or misinformation, which is just as bad sometimes, right? So the young lady, she was not in her bed asleep. She was actually in the hallway, and apparently they were there to serve the search warrant for her. Now, the point of contention is when these 3 officers, they had a no-knock warrant. And what that means is that they didn't have to knock, right? They could just go in there and do what they had to do. Now, let's pause there real quick. First of all, that I don't even think that was even necessary. Okay, they acting like she was El Chapo or something. Like, seriously? I mean, a batter ram? Like, it's different. It's conflicting, stories on whether or not they identified themselves as police officers or they didn't. Now, the boyfriend, Mr. Kenneth Walker, said that he heard knocking, but he never heard anyone say that, hey, it's the police, open the door. As a matter of fact, he said that that Breonna asked, who is it, several times with no answer. So that's when he got his strap. Okay. So the real point of contention here is, did they identify themselves as police officers to go and serve this warrant on this young lady or not? Because as it turns out, that right there, that was the butterfly effect moment for this young lady. Because, and I'm gonna be 100% real with all of you. Okay, I do not believe that those police officers identified themselves as police officers because, number one, it defies logic. Okay, I'm black. I'm from the hood. Like, don't get it twisted. Like, I got my strap to protect myself, my family. You can run up in my crib. The first thing I'm going to do is get my gun to protect myself and my family. And that's what it sounds like this young man did. Okay, I don't know if no young black man is going to get his gun if he knows that there's a bunch of police officers saying, "Hey, police!" He's going to get his gun and start shooting. I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that. Not at all. Not for 1 second. Okay? It sounds to me like that young man was protecting himself and his woman. Okay? That's what it sounds like to me. But again, it's 3 against 1 because she's deceased. She can't give her version. Okay? So, and please understand my position, as a black man, I'm not here trying to give any credence to what the police said in the case or whatever the case may be, because I just feel like, first of all, it was too much. You're acting like she was just moving keys or she batter ram. Like, seriously, like, come on, man. Like, I mean, seriously, come on. I mean, they've taken out white people for doing a whole lot more with a lot less fanfare than that, man. Like, I really believe they only do certain things because it's us. It's like they always got to go extra and beyond. But anyway, I don't want to go on a tangent. Let me get back to my point. I don't believe that those officers identified themselves as that, because the actions of that young man tells me, as a black man in America and coming up from the hood, that he thought there was some type of home invasion. So he did what any respectable man would do. He went and got his gun to protect himself and his woman. And I don't know if there's any kids involved, but protect his family. All right? And he let off. Now, here's the messed up part. Because they didn't identify themselves as police officers, the minute Mr. Walker let off on them, that gave them free rein to commence to firing until the threat was totally gone. All right? The threat was completely neutralized. Because, see, that's what they teach you in the law enforcement academies. They don't teach you to shoot to disarm or to shoot to maim or to, no, they teach you to shoot center mass. But at the same time, deadly force should only be used as the very last resort. Period. Point blank. Okay? When you pull that gun out of that holster as a police officer and pull that trigger, and sometimes you only have seconds to make a decision, you better damn sure be justified in pulling that trigger. That's why it's called justifiable homicide or reckless endangerment if it's not justifiable, things of that nature, right? So, but when the minute he let off, and I believe it was in self-defense, that gave them free rein to return fire. Over 20 plus rounds, seriously, like, again, overkill. Now, I get it. I understand. Police officer, you really don't know what you're going to run into. Someone shooting at you, adrenaline's pumping. Okay, boom. Someone shoots at you, you start firing. And when the smoke clears, you'll see what you got. Right? And that's the really messed up and unfortunate part of this whole situation, because had they identified themselves as police officers, I don't believe we're even talking about Miss Breonna Taylor and losing her life. Because no, I don't know of any, and I know I've been around some real gangster dudes. Okay, I've been around a lot of different type of, black brothers throughout my life, and like I said, unless a dude got like some kind of weird, crazy, demented death wish, I don't know if no dude's gonna get his strap when he know a bunch of police officers coming in his house, unless he has this type of mentality where he know he done did something and they're not finna take me alive, something like that. Now, yeah, that does happen. I mean, it's not happening a lot, but it does happen. They going out in a blaze, right? But in this situation, we don't see that that's the case at all. We see from where I'm standing, it looks like this young man was defending himself and his woman, and she got caught. She was in the hallway. She got caught. She got hit like 5 times, I believe. And how the young man wasn't hit at all was beyond me. I mean, over 20 something rounds, and she got 5. I mean, she got the brunt of it. So that kind of sounds like she was in the front. Again, I don't know. I wasn't there. But that's what it sounds like to me. And I don't know if he got hit and he just, or what the case is, but she took 5 of those bullets. And so that kind of tells me that she was more so in the front of this young man. So I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying that based on that. I don't know that for a fact. Okay, so don't quote me or bite my head off. I'm just giving you my perspective, my commentary on it. Okay, in all fairness, yes, the police officers were there to do their job. Okay, but I don't believe they did their job correctly. It's shoddy police work. I mean, it's police work 101. No knock warrant or not. Okay? And I'm glad they did away with that no knock stuff or whatever they did, because that's a dangerous thing. It's not just for the potential suspect, but the police officer as well. You come running up in my crib, man, I don't know who you are. I'm busting. I mean, it's just straight like that. I'm letting off. And it's messed up, because that young lady didn't have to lose her life had they done their job properly. All right? Because it just defies logic to me that they identified themselves as police officer and then the young brother just started letting off. I don't believe that. And I don't think a reasonable person would, believe that. But sometimes, as black people, man, we just tend to emotionalize, everything, right? And it's like we don't care about facts. We just so emotional. And I get it. How can you not be? We've been through and are going through a lot as a people. And it's like I said, to the point where it's like you almost become desensitized, when one of us dies at the hands of the police, because it's like we're so used to it now. And that's a messed up thing to have to say and feel. We should not be used to being murdered unarmed by police officers. And people say, oh, well, talking about Black Lives Matter, which I'm not going to really get into that. But there's black people kill black people. Yeah, and those people that kill black people, whether they black or whoever, they're called criminals and they're committing a crime, and they should go to jail, go to prison, whatever the case may be. But police officers are supposed to protect people from crime, not become the criminal and kill unarmed men, women, and children. I mean, in no alternative universe is that okay. It's just not, and that's the whole point. It's a given that that's what criminals do. Criminals commit crime, and it ain't about black on black, because again, people commit crimes against people that's within their vicinity. White people kill white people, Japanese kill Japanese. I mean, whatever. You're gonna. It's unfortunate, but that's just how it is. You're gonna commit crimes to the people that's in your closest proximity. All right, but when you do that, when you commit that crime, you better be ready to do that time. Police officers should be exempt from that, because they are the ones supposed to protect and serve. All right, And maybe one day soon I'll get into the whole Black Lives Matter thing. And conceptually, yes, 120%. Black Lives Matter. But I've said it before and I'll say it again. But as a movement, I do not support Black Lives Matter, the movement, because I know who started that movement and I know what the insinuations are. And see, again, a lot of our people, men and women, say they just see the Black Lives Matter. They don't do the research. They don't do the knowledge. They don't say, well, let me research this organization. Let me research who's behind it, and let me research what's really going on. Let me read their mission statement. Although it's been said that they've changed the mission statement up, but their mission statement was not pro-black men at all. Okay, and I'm just going to say that. So, conceptually, in actuality, and realistically, Black Lives Matter, yes, 120%. No question. But as a movement, nah, I'm good. Black wives matter. Black fathers matter. Black couples matter. Okay? Man, woman, child. Just like that. Period, point blank. That's what I represent. Okay? But anyway, but yeah, that was, once I kind of dug a little bit deeper into it, and, I saw what was going on. Number one, I just think it was overkill. Number two, had they done their job better, it's a very real possibility that young lady could still be alive. I just think they just go over the top with us, man. A batter ram, like seriously, they make it seem like she was dealing with some kind of kingpin or, whatever the case may be, and just over the top. They didn't identify themselves. I don't believe they did, and subsequently, she lost her life. And the crazy thing is, one of the young men that was involved with the search warrant, they tried to get him to give him a plea deal, just to say that she was actually involved, and that brother declined. Kudos to him. Kudos to him for that. Will we ever really know, what was her level of involvement with these young men? Maybe not. Right? Maybe not. Because my thing is, the only people that really know are the people that were directly involved in the Most High, right? But I think it was really unfortunate, that I feel like in my spirit, she didn't have to die, but unfortunately, like I said, in the law enforcement academies all across the United States, once you're fired upon, and the only reason they were fired upon is because what? They didn't identify themselves. That's fault. That's negligent all day. Period. They did not identify themselves. So when the young man fired on them, that gave them free rein to just open fire until they felt there was no more threat, or whatever the case may be. And when it was all said and done, the young lady was laying dead, 5 shots, man. I mean, seriously, 26 years old, man. And in many ways, she's still a baby. A baby. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. I just me, my thing, I try to be objective. I try to be fair, and when I speak on things, especially when it comes to the things of our people. And like I said, sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to be objective. You go through so much of just, hurt and pain and turmoil and this ain't just started yesterday or the day before or last month. It's been going on since the beginning. Since the transatlantic. Nothing's changed. Nothing has changed. And you all know Deuteronomy 28 is still alive in effect. And it was this young lady I saw, she gave she did a video and she was saying, why are black people so maligned, basically? Like, why do people hate us? And my thing is, I wanted to take time out to really, explain to her why the world hates us. But here's the thing. When you start talking about, us being the children of Israel and, cursed throughout the four corners of the earth, the book of Deuteronomy, when you start talking like that off top, our people don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to receive it. it's like they pose the question, and then when you give them, give them the answer, then it's like, no, I don't believe that. That's not us. No. Mm-mm. Okay. Well, so I don't know what to tell you. But and shout out to all the other brothers and sisters. Sandra Bland, and Ahmed Arbery, and just all the brothers and sisters. George Floyd. Who's lost their lives. Unarmed black men and women has lost their lives. And it's crazy because I saw a mural of all the brothers and sisters, man, over the past few years that's lost their lives at the hands of police officers, man, and it was telling. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to put it up here so you guys can see. And I mean, it was just like, wow. I mean, it was very telling. It was sad and sombering, man, really. They saying justice for Breonna. Well, I mean, I think her family got a big settlement, which no matter amount, is not going to bring her back, right? And when they say justice for her, I mean, here's my thing, and I'm saying this completely objectively, non-emotional, okay? When they say justice for Breonna, I don't know what people are expecting, because, okay, rather they, and we know the point of contention is rather they identify themselves as police officers or not, right? That's the main point of contention. I don't believe they did. They were there to serve a search warrant on her and her apartment, right? And because they didn't identify themselves, her boyfriend subsequently fired on them. So because he fired on them, they were within their quote unquote rights as police officers to fire back. And unfortunately, she was caught in the crossfire. Now, yeah, I said it before, I believe that she was killed because of shoddy police work, but I don't know how much more justice they want. It's like they were on their job. They were there to do a job. They didn't go there with intent to, well, I can't even speak to that. I'm not going to speak to them. I'm never going to speak to anyone's intent, but they were there to do their job, to serve that warrant on her and her place and to search it. That was the thing. It was just a search warrant. That's all it was. It wasn't an arrest warrant. It was a search warrant. And I think people are not even looking at that. That wasn't an arrest warrant. And then come to find out they didn't even find any drugs. So, I mean, really, they didn't even find anything. It was a search, all that for a search warrant? Like, seriously? A batter ram? Dude, knock on the door, man. We black. I mean, knock on the door. Police officers, we got a search warrant, open the door, whatever. We gonna open the door, right? Like, all that wasn't even necessary. But anyway, it's hard, man. It's hard not to go on a tangent, not to speak emotionally. It's hard. But back to the whole justice for her thing. I just don't know realistically what else our people want to happen, regardless of the, rather than identify themselves, whatever case may be, they were doing their job, man. And it's tragic that she got lost in the midst of that, even though it was a messed up job. They were doing their job. And I know a lot of my people don't want to hear that, whatever the case may be. And God in heaven knows, I'm not saying it in any way to try to, to back them. But I'm just being honest. Like, it was tragic, and it didn't have to be. A search warrant? Seriously? A batter ram for a young lady? Come on, man. Like, so over the top. So over the top. So I just don't know what else, and I see LeBron, on TV telling me, want justice no matter how long. I mean, I don't know what more we want. What do we want? Because in order to say that she was murdered, you have to prove that, and you have to prove intent. There's all kind of other little legal, you have to go with, with murder, and So I'm not even going to really get into that. I just wanted to speak to this situation because this is what I felt led to do on this Shabbat. Again, it's tragic, and may the Most High have mercy, on her eternal soul, and and I really pray sincerely, for the strength of her family, that's still going through it, dealing with losing her, regardless of the circumstances surrounding, how she was lost or whatever the case may be. The bottom line is that young lady's life is gone. She's no longer here. And I send a sincere, heartfelt, rest in peace for her. Again, I really pray and hope the Most High has mercy on her soul. And I pray for our people's healing. I pray for the Most High to have mercy on us, because we're in a fix, man, until we get back to our covenant, with Him. It's going to be this way. The curses of the book of Deuteronomy is in full effect. And, and again, many of us don't want to hear that, but at the same time, why do people hate us? Well, I'll tell you exactly why they hate us. And as a matter of fact, I may even post that young lady's video and respond to it, and repost it. Maybe you guys can share it, and, maybe she'll get it and see it or something. I don't know. But I know I did mention about doing the Haplogroup D video, but that's going to have to probably wait until next Shabbat, God willing. I felt led to talk about this, because it seems to really be trending all over the internet. And I wanted to kind of find out more about what happened. I don't like to talk about something I don't know nothing about, or just kind of start spouting off, running my mouth. I don't like people just run their mouth and don't know what they're talking about. It's just so annoying, right? So I kind of wanted to get a little more information before I spoke on it, and I did. And it was sad. It was real sad, because it comes back to shoddy police work. Young lady died, and she didn't have to, in my personal opinion. Okay. So anyway, with that said, I hope you all are having a blessed Shabbat. And until next time, this is Dr. Ephraim signing off, saying Hayya by Hashem, Yeshua HaMashiach. Shalom.